My name is Garrett Sims. We're back with Sports Timeout, episode 17 with guest Jeff Brown. This is going to kind of be our wrestling spectacular. Both Oak Grove and Odessa just got back last week from the state championships. Odessa just completed their back-to-back state championships. That's very hard to do. But before we get into our wrestling episode, I want to shout out those that did go and where they did place. And just a huge congratulations to these athletes because wrestling is not an easy sport, obviously. And to go to state on the biggest stage with the brightest lights at Mizzou Arena, it's not easy to do. So I wanted to shout out Odessa's champions, Blaine Wallace, two-time back-to-back, Emily Bischoff, a champion, first-time girls champion, not only that, but first back-to-back champion, and then Jet Brown, back-to-back champion. So all three of those Odessa athletes got a first-place win at the state championships, as well as Brady Jones, who placed second, Camden Hooper, who placed second. Third place was Michael Scott. Sixth place was Caden Davison. For the girls, fourth place was Addison Edelman. And then sixth place was Aaliyah Sanders. Huge congratulations to them, as well as those that competed for Odessa and did not place. That was Liam Shippey, Will Scott, Bella Palmer, Wiley Smith, and Brooke Butler. What a huge congratulations to these guys for making it to the biggest stage and getting to help out their team and just doing their thing. For Oak Grove, Perry Morgan finished with a third placer. Kale Martin was sixth. Lauren Phillips was third, and Eva Alexander was fourth. Obviously, not the result with any champions, but such a great effort and a huge accomplishment for each one of these athletes. They also had Amos Parks go down, as well as Elliot Atwell and Brianna Couch. I mean, when you look at Oak Grove, when you look at Odessa, you're sending down, a big handful of athletes, and between the two towns, we're well represented. And I think, obviously, it's going to be a great episode. I'm going to quit yapping here, and we're going to get into the program. But I just want to say a huge congratulations to these athletes. What they are doing, what they have done, what they continue to do is not easy, and a lot of respect for these guys and girls. My name is Garrett Sims. I'm back with Kory Hales, who took a trip down to Daytona. I hope you had fun, Kory. Seen some NASCARs going real fast.
I did.
We took a little hiatus, but we're back because state wrestling just happened. We're going to recap that. There was a lot of good action from Oak Grove and Odessa. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was my first time down there. Really cool experience for those that don't get to go. It's just so cool to have 8 mats. All these kids are going at one time. Even when you get to the finals, there's down to 6, and the way they do it makes it, I will say, it's hard to watch 6 wrestlers at once, especially when you have 2, that's on the same team in that. Mm-hmm. But it's such a cool thing. I was excited to be there.
Yeah, it's very cool for the kids. I mean, it's obviously the tournament. I mean, that's what you're hoping to get to. That's what you're building toward all year. So for the kids that do get to go, it's fantastic. Had some get knocked out day 1, unfortunately, from both of our teams, but had a lot of wrestlers on day 2 and a lot of medalists, so good showing for Oak Grove and Odessa.
Yeah, I was going to say, we kind of came in yesterday when Eva was wrestling, and man, I was just impressed with, somebody that we had talked about all year long being kind of beast in the mat. So yeah. To get to see her finally go and do her thing at the state level, I mean, that was awesome. We seen Perry Morgan and Kale Martin. Yep. I think Kale finished, I want to say sixth it was, and
Perry third.
That was really, really awesome for them, and those are 2 really, really good wrestlers, and just a huge congratulations because, I mean, shoot, it's hard to go all season. I'm not a wrestler, Mm-hmm. I had to play 1 game a week, so I couldn't imagine going 3 bouts just to get to the finals, and then you got to win the finals, Kory.
Yeah, it's not an easy task, and again, neither one of us are wrestlers. I've never had to experience an entire season of commitment like they do, and they absolutely do, boys and girls. But yeah, it's a tough road to hoe.
Yeah,
tough road to hoe, I should say. But yeah, it's the state tournament is special because it's the state tournament. I mean, nobody is coming back on the wrestlebacks to win a state championship. It's two unbeaten, wrestlers in the finals, and that's how you want it. So whatever you place there is earned. Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, nothing's given. That's for absolutely sure. And we saw that in a lot of matches with our wrestlers over the last 2 days. I mean, it's winner take all. It's the old, we're going to circle back to the fist fight in a phone booth, and that's pretty much what it is. And some of those could have come down to that, honestly. So I mean, it's intense.
Yeah, and I wanted to say too, you get so many wrestling matches across this short period of time, and it's just so cool to see. And I think there were so many exciting ones, and I don't want to jump the gun on this, but I do want to talk about it. Brady Jones, man, getting down, I think it was 10-3, and he was kind of, I don't want to say he's getting manhandled a little bit, but you were kind of fearing for him, and then he just gets it. He find a little shift in the momentum. He got him right where he wanted him, pins him, game over, and the excitement on that kid's face, man. And I know you talked to him with the interview that you did for the sports preview, and he came on the podcast. So, I mean, just to see him talk about that process, read about that process, and then to see him finally just kind of see the process in action, him trusting in his abilities and his instincts and his talent, that he knows what he's got to do, and no matter what that score was, because I don't know wrestling real well, but there's some times that score can get ran up, and you're sitting there like, it's either I pin or I'm done.
Right. It's I wasn't aware of the score at the time. I was down there taking pictures and was just kind of focused looking through the lens. So I knew he was down. But that match kind of was a microcosm of his entire career, and bless the young man. I mean, that's awesome though. He's a state qualifier as a freshman, didn't go as a sophomore or junior, and then comes back as a senior and has to run through that tough semifinal match where he gets a pin, gets a fall, to make the finals as a senior. I mean, that's incredible. Testament to him and his ability to endure. Honestly, sophomore, junior, working all through your senior year. Good on Brady. I mean,
yeah.
I love that he. I love that he made the finals. I hate that he had to finish second. I would love to have seen the Cinderella story play out and him win it, go out as a senior. That'd be fantastic. But he did handle the loss with an immense amount of dignity and respect, which I also appreciate. So it was he was a pleasure to watch for sure.
I was just excited because, like I said, we interviewed him on the podcast, and to see him do his thing on the biggest stage, and it is not easy. These wrestling things are not easy. I'm telling you, even the spotlights here at Mizzou Arena. I mean, it is a big arena for 8 mats, and all these spotlights and stuff coming down on you. It does feel like kind of a big stage, and I'm the one sitting up here. I don't know if I could be.
Yeah, it's obviously a different setting compared to anything else you're going to experience in high school wrestling. I mean, you come out there in the finals, and the 106 is the very first, or the the 100s for the girls. You're coming out, and there's possibly, I mean, I'm not counting people, there's probably 8,000 to 10,000 people in the stands. I mean, that's different.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
different.
Especially considering when you're used to Odessa that barely gets 200 to 500 people a night. I mean, yeah. The one thing I did want to jump to kind of before, before we get to our state champions, I do want to touch on Camden Hooper too,
mm-hmm.
and the Scots as well, and who's the last one I'm forgetting? It's
Caden Davison, maybe.
Caden Davison, who that dude is a dog,
mm-hmm.
and let's actually talk about him first because I was going to talk about Camden Hooper. That match was ecstatic,
mm-hmm.
But Caden, man. He gave it his all in the semifinals, and I don't know what it was. I don't want to make any assumptions, but looked like he might got hurt. But that kid gave it his all. There was not an ounce of quit. And if there is anybody, I mean, Caden Davison, tough kid. Just brand him as that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard way to go out.
Yeah.
But you just don't. When you don't quit, it shows your toughness, and that kid gave it everything he had.
Yeah, he unfortunately had an injury that, I don't even know what it is, but I hate that for him.
Yeah.
But he had a few stoppages during his match, semifinal match, if I'm remembering correctly, but fought through it and finished the match. Well, I mean, to his credit. So I mean, it was you hate to see that for anybody, any wrestler. Hate it for Caden, 2-time finalist, 2-time state finalist, 2-time runner-up. He's going to come back next year as a freaking man possessed, which should be fun to watch. I mean, when you go out like that, which isn't how you want to go out.
No.
But knowing Caden a little bit, not real personally, but knowing him, he's going to come back like a man possessed next year, and that's going to be great for us and really bad for his opponents. So
best thing we can do is in any of our failures, if we can learn from it, that makes us better, and that's our goal as human beings. So hopefully he can do that. But I do want to talk about Hooper. Oh my goodness, that was exciting. I think he came out. What was the lead? 7-2, 7-5.
Again, he had a lead, and I don't honestly remember because I'm looking through the lens.
You're looking through the lens.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep track in my head, but
so let's just say I know at one point it was like 7-5. Then it gets up to the opponents winning 9-8. Hooper ties it, and he was just so close. He was so close on that final push. He just didn't have enough momentum to turn him over, but he was almost right there. And that kid was the 51-1, state champion every year he's wrestled, and Hooper gave him all he could handle. Yeah. And I mean, I am just so amazed and impressed at Hooper because how that's just so awesome, and you're a great athlete, obviously you're capable of these things, but it's just so exciting and exhilarating, and you're just on the edge of your seat into it. Yeah, no, he's obviously a very exciting young man to watch on the mat. I mean, he goes a million miles an hour. He goes from 0 to 60 in a blink of an eye type situation. So I mean, and the Seneca kid matched him, obviously. That was a match that was unfortunately going on at the same time as Blaine Wallace's match. At 132, and Hooper's at 138. So it was one of those deals where I was trying to look back and forth and work both mats, and it really stinks when that happens, honestly, for everybody, not just me, because you're trying to focus on what's going on and try to understand scores and what's happening in the match and the flow of the match. So, yeah, that's a tough loss. But I think knowing Camden a little bit or understanding what he's like mentality wise, he's going to bounce back from that pretty solidly. He's going to take that personally, and he's going to obviously delve back into it, and he's probably in there today. I promise you, he's probably back in the wrestling room today, and going to learn from that, learn from what cost him and what didn't, what worked and what didn't, and apply that next time he hits the mat for sure. It was just really impressive to watch him do his thing. Like you said, Blaine Wallace was the other one going on at the same time. He kind of ran away with his. And I think, I know you're looking through the lens, but that one was a little more lopsided. I think it was like 29. It was by a score of like 19 points. Yeah. It was like 27-6 or something like that along those lines. You get what I'm trying to mean. But Wallace came ready to play. Yeah, he was like playing with his food. It's pretty much what it was. I mean, it was a catch and release. And I'll say this, and I don't mean anything bad, but for him, he got a little bit of advantage going into that finals because I think, and I just want to say this because I didn't know this type of thing happens. The kid he was supposed to wrestle in the semifinals injured a kid by an illegal takedown. Okay. So the kid that should have won was injured, so Wallace couldn't face him, and then the kid that did the illegal takedown was disqualified. Okay. So Wallace, by forfeit, moved on to the finals, so he didn't necessarily have to wrestle semifinals match. I think that's obviously an advantage when you have to do less work. But that is what it is, though. I mean, you can only play the cards you're dealt, so that's what he was dealt. That's what you go with. But it could have also, on the other side, it can throw you out of your routine. I thought about that like a DH, how they say always with a DH, they think all the, when you're not in the field, you're thinking more and stuff like that. So I could see the flip side. I just thought in terms of I'm a little lazy sometimes. I like a little rest. I take the easier path. I think Blaine would take the rest too, although he battled a little bit of injury throughout the year too, so he was probably just ready to hit the mat and, show and go, So, props to him. I mean, he dominated that match. Every time I looked over there, the dude was on top or releasing the kid to take him down again. So, it was a domination. Congratulations to him. 2-time state champ as a sophomore. Well, yeah, hello. Crazy. And that's what I was going to say. It felt like he was just letting the kid up to, take him down again. And I was like, That's what makes wrestling so beautiful, and that's why I think a lot of people like it so much, because I don't know. I've learned that after yesterday. I have a beautiful new perspective on this sport that I want to watch more of.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. It's one of those deals where as a freshman, some of those guys like Camden, some of those guys like Blaine, might have snuck up on a few people. I mean, honestly, it's a freshman. Yeah, well, what do you fully expect? Then they go out and win state championships. Well, there's no sneaking up on them as a sophomore.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get everybody's best effort, best match. And they rose to the challenge and got back to the finals again. Blaine won it. Camden came up a little short. He's gonna be back.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So it's just one of those deals where you learn and grow and apply it to the next time you step on the mat and hope it's good enough. So yeah.
And I think our last two Odessa wrestlers were Jet Brown, who, goodness, he's a freshman. He's a freshman. Sophomore. He won last year as a freshman. That's it. He did
last
year as a freshman. There we go. But that's crazy. They got all these sophomores. Oh, I just can't believe, and that's a credit to head coach Brown.
Yeah.
And that's a credit to
Jet's dad, by the way, Jeff. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, Jet was a machine as well. And he was wrestling at the same time as Emily Bischoff.
Yeah, I was going to say that, our defending girls state champion.
They were on side-by-side mats, and she won her second in a row, as did Jet. Her junior year, pinned her opponent from Mid-Buchanan, again, a beast. What I appreciate about Emily was, I could be wrong, she took the mat with a smile on her face. Like, she was so free and easy and just, like, ready to roll. Like, she looked super relaxed, and whatever was going to happen was going to happen. In her mind, she knew it was going to happen. She was going to win the dang match. So, I mean, I thought that was awesome. And she left the mat with a smile. So, and then Jet was just another tactician, clinician, whatever you want to say. The dude just dissected his opponent and won his second in a row and made it look pretty easy.
I mean, it's insane to see these incredible athletes doing these incredible things, because Bischoff, 2-time defending. Now you got Jet Brown, 2-time defending. I mean, and just the way they wrestle, they're their own styles, and they do it so well. Like, and I saw Bischoff a little bit. She's kind of sitting there. She's trying to figure it out. Like, It was a little bit more standing than a little bit of the other matches. She's not, I would say, as much of an attacker. A little bit more feel it out and stuff. But that's like, you saw that free and easy. I was looking down there, and I saw her smiling too. And I was like, that's somebody
She's
ready
right
to go.
Where she wanted to be.
Yeah.
And she was...
moment's not too big.
And she was looking for her moment in the match. I mean, she's on her feet. She's looking for that one shot, in my opinion, looking for that one shot to really take advantage of the situation and make her opponent pay, and by golly, she did it. I mean, you can't blame her.
No.
If that's her style, that's her style. Like, make them pay, and she did, and 2-timer as a junior, going for 3 as a senior.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to be impressive to see her go one more time, one more go round, because I really don't. That confidence, man. Yeah. That's something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year as a sophomore, she's Odessa's first ever female state champ. Walks in there as a junior. Now you're Odessa's first ever 2-time state champ, first repeat, whatever you want to call it. She's a daggum beast.
I know Kansas City's tired of hearing about three-peats, but I'm rooting for a three-peat again. I got a three-peat to root for again.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly.
To touch it all off, with all those results, Odessa defends their title as the Class 2 state champions.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. I mean, to go from never doing it to winning 2 in a row, 4 finalists, 2 state champs, other medalists to throw in there as well. I think we had 7 medalists total, if I'm thinking correctly. Hopefully that's correct.
I was going to say, I think one of the Scotts got 3rd.
Michael Scott 3rd, Caden Davidson 6th. Missing somebody, and it's gonna
Will Scott didn't medal, unfortunately. I guess then our 4 finalists, I'm missing somebody who we're going to pay for that. We got to think of that name. I'm rolling through papers. Are you missing Brady? You're missing Brady.
Maybe I'm missing Brady. Oh yeah, Liam Shippey unfortunately didn't medal as well. Yep,
Liam
he missed out. Lost his first match in really tough fashion.
That was like a 1-0 most of the match, and then it gets 1-1, and it was just a battle for.
It was a battle. I felt terrible for him. He wrestled really well in the tournament. Got to day 2, and that was the old proverbial fist fight in a phone booth. That match, that was.
He gave it his all, and it was an incredible effort because I thought I was like, he's almost got it. He's just got to hold for a little bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you said, it's a fist fight in a phone booth, and you never know who walks out of those.
And he's a sophomore.
And that's exciting too.
Will Scott, freshman. Holy cow! The deck is stacked here for the next few years. Hopefully, they can keep shuffling the cards and dealing them out right, and win some more. Keep winning.
I was telling Joe this after they kind of did that cool video tribute, and for those that don't realize, back in 2005, Odessa was, I think, what was it? We were 3rd or 4th.
Third, if I remember right. Yeah.
And it was just cool to look back and see how long, because Odessa's been dominant in wrestling. We have a very dominant wrestling culture, and I think that extends to the girls. There is tough, gritty, hard-working people inside those Odessa wrestling walls, and I firmly believe that. I think that goes back to the older Shippies, and all them people that helped build it then. And I think about the people that were good when I was there, or when I was a kid. The Dakota Miller, the Austin Wygant, Mason Smith, and then you get to see all these kids who are just keeping this culture and this amazing thing alive, that Odessa wrestling is something. And if you don't think so, it's time you take a closer look.
I'm dating myself here, but I covered Camden's dad in high school, Conrad. And he was a stud on the football field. He was a stud on the wrestling mat. Obviously, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. There's a pretty rich history there, and it's hopefully just going to take more root.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun little ride here. Hopefully, again, everybody's got to stay healthy. Knock on wood. Everybody's got to stay healthy and still have that drive and want to. It seems like these kids do. So that's going to be fantastic, and they got great coaching. Jeff Brown with the boys, Dayton Brown with the girls. They got great staffs who are fully invested, and want to see success out of their teams and. When you got teams or athletes that want to succeed mixed with coaches that want to see them succeed, man, that's a great recipe.
I should also say this too, because we're forgetting about her. Addison Edelman finished fourth in the girls.
Good wrap up for her as a senior. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Just to touch on that, there was a lot of great action from Thursday, Wednesday. There's still going to be more tomorrow and Saturday. Them bigger schools.
Oh yeah, class 3 and 4 at it.
I just want to say a huge congratulations to the Oak Grove boys and girls wrestling team. A huge congratulations to the Odessa boys and girls wrestling team. On a fantastic season.
Yeah, let's touch on Lauren Phillips, though, because she did finish 3rd as a senior in Oak Grove.
You let me finish. You let me forget that.
I almost did. I wanted to jump in there just to make sure we give her a
dad's a wrestling coach. He might come after me that.
Yeah, he would easily take you down, for sure. But no, wrapped up a great career. I know she had her sights set on winning a state title. That semifinal match, she lost to a Centralia girl who went on to win the state championship. She just got better than that match, but she came back and I think pinned her next 2 opponents to finish 3rd. Lauren Phillips as a freshman was the only girl on the girls wrestling team in Oak Grove. And she leaves as I'm pretty sure a 3-time state medalist. If I remember correctly, I don't think she made it as a freshman. But made it as a sophomore, junior, senior. So props to her, fantastic career. Helped build that program literally from the ground up. So her legacy is established, is there. So
and also that the legacy she leaves behind in softball. What a tremendous athlete, and obviously
super fun to watch. The last 4 years watching her play softball, play wrestling, play softball and wrestle has been fun. I don't always get to tell the kids. I occasionally will go up to the kids and be like, "Hey, listen, it's been fun watching you the last 4 years. I've had a great time. Good luck the rest of your playing career if you're playing at the next level or whatever." So I haven't had a chance to tell Lauren that. So hopefully Lauren's listening and it's been amazing. So hopefully she has a good rest of her senior year and goes on to bigger and better things.
And we're hoping for that too. I mean, yeah, exciting athletes. So I'm trying to think back right now if I ever got told that by Kory Hales. I did not. I did not ever get told that he enjoyed watching me play, but hey, it's all right. I was just an offensive lineman. I wasn't exciting. Well,
sorry, buddy.
They go play college anyway, so you knew deep down inside.
It's
you
all
knew
good.
Deep down inside.
I appreciate players. I appreciate all the sacrifices they have to make. I had to make them way back in the day before we had internet and anything like that, social media, all that fun stuff. We just had newspapers, radios, and stuff. So
had to find out the old-fashioned way.
Exactly.
But once again, a huge congratulations to all these great athletes. I mean, it's not easy, and we're excited to see where they go, those that are they're at path ends, where that continues to go, and we're excited to see those that come back next year ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely.
So we are done here, I think. This was our kind of wrestling wrap-up, I'll say. So we hope you've enjoyed it. Kory, anything else?
I'm out.
We're going to take her home. I really hope you guys have enjoyed the weekly roundup for this week. Before we get into our interview with Jeff Brown, we're going to have a quick ad break. My name is Garrett Sims. I'm here with guest Jeff Brown. We're kind of doing this a little bit differently, but thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
We're going to ask you some questions, and obviously, first off, congratulations on your back-to-back Class 2 state championships.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just want to ask you a little bit about what that means to you.
I think, you always want to, that's something that you want to do as a coach is try to win the state title. But, over the years, it's something that's like actually in the back of my mind. My mind is always trying to teach kids how to become great wrestlers and great competitors, have fun doing it, and then also use that as a vehicle to become great men of character and people that are going to be leaders wherever they go and stand out, be uncommon among uncommon men. So I think when that happens, then the state championships kind of follow suit.
And that's awesome. And I want to ask you a little bit, what are some key factors that attributed to your team's consecutive state championships?
Just having great kids, and and a lot of times people think, oh, it's the head coach that come in and did this, and no, this just, you can look on the wall here and see this is a program, it's a tradition of being excellent, and it's something that's been in the community for a long time. All the way back to the 90s. The community really supports wrestling. Got a great youth wrestling program. Have had a lot of coaches come through, but a lot of great kids. And it's still, we have our tremendous support from the community, from our boosters, and from our youth club all the way up. So it's bound to happen, when you got that kind of support.
Yes, sir. And I just ask you a little bit, how have you been able to manage and maintain and help improve the team over the past couple of years?
I just keeping them, consistency wins. That's kind of the philosophy, is we got to be consistent with our hard work on the mat, in the classroom, in the community, how we work at home and how we treat our parents, and like just being consistent with our effort and our attitude and everything that we do. So it's not something that we just do in wrestling, but I'm trying to make sure that it's something that we do all the time.
Yes, sir. And do you have any specific training methods or routines that you try to teach your wrestlers?
We have a lot of different drills and things that we do, and we'll try to stay up on what some of the latest things are. But one thing is just trying to be grateful for the opportunities that we have and really be appreciative of those and have fun. Like, this is a really hard sport, and to me, it's the hardest sport. You got to watch your weight. There's no other high school sport where you're checking your weight on a regular basis and having to do that prior to competing, and just that alone, and then how hard the sport is to compete against somebody else. But it's tough, so you got to remember to have fun and remember that it is fun. That's why we do it, so it helps keep it in perspective.
And I just wanted to ask you a little bit, you want to have fun, so what's a little bit of your coaching philosophy, if you could describe that for me, and how has it evolved over your career?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that earlier, is just consistency. Just being consistent with effort and attitude, and focus on, again, being grateful, being appreciative of all the people that have invested in you and continue to invest in you and that still come support you, and being grateful for that we have able-minded to go and compete in something that we love to do. So taking time to reflect and journal and talk about those things is important.
Yes, sir. And wrestling's a very physical and mental sport, so how do you balance those aspects of wrestling?
That's, I think, just getting kids to, at the right time, we'll come in and we try to, balance our practice. Not every practice is as hard as we can possibly go. Sometimes we got to have fun, and we'll come in here. There was one practice we came in here over Christmas break, and we did nothing but play ultimate frisbee. So I mean, there's those times when we can do that, and we're fortunate enough that we have good enough wrestlers that when I'm not freaking out about I need to really buckle down on wrestling today. It was a time where we could actually take some time, have fun, and continue get up and move and keep our condition up, but not even do anything wrestling wise that day. So, and I think that's important for them for the camaraderie of the team as well.
That's awesome. And I'd ask you, this is a little tougher question, but what challenges did you have to face this season, and how did the team and how did you overcome them?
There's a lot of challenges. I mean, some that I can't even talk about, just personal challenges for kids and for myself. And we had injuries. My son broke his hip prior to the season. Lake Waters has fractures in his back. Those are two guys that scored almost 30 points apiece down the state tournament. They're worried about getting back in the lineup. And we've got other kids that are battling through injuries or wrestling up weight classes because we have so many good kids that some kids are going to have to wrestle up, some kids are going to have to cut, and trying to get these kids in the right lineups and it's not easy. I mean, everybody's facing something, and sometimes maybe I don't even know about some of the challenges that these kids are facing. So, but they come in here, and this is a place where they can come and forget about that and just focus on their goals, and this is something they love to do, and they love to be around each other, which is great too.
It makes it even sweeter when you win a championship.
Oh yeah, of course.
How do you create, a winning culture among your wrestlers?
I think that was before I got here. This program, this team, like I said, it's been around for a long time, so they kind of know what that's like, and they do it from a young age. They do it in the youth program, and they do it all the way come up. And the parents, we got parents that are running the youth program that have been through this exact program. So it's just something it's from the bottom up. So that part of it's pretty easy for me because it's already established with the community.
Yes, sir. And I just wanted to ask you, a little bit about team. I know you may not have team captains, but them or your senior members, what role do they play in your program and their leadership?
Yeah, we have great leaders, that push each other, that hold each other accountable. They will call each other out when they need to and lead by example. And so we got several guys that will do that, and it's good. It's good for them to. We don't always like being challenged or questioned, but you guys do a good job at you got to be a good follower too. So when guys are doing the right thing, it doesn't mean anything if the guy doesn't follow them. So you got to have good leaders, got to have good followers, and I think we have all of that. So it's been good.
And I just want to ask you a little bit too. How cool is it to coach your son in high school?
This is my second time doing that. I have an older son too, so
that's cool.
It's been fun coaching him. I've enjoyed it's memories that I'll remember forever. So it's always fun getting to coach them and just spend more time with them doing something that I love to do, that they love to do, and it's a great way to bond.
Yes, sir. And we're gonna look ahead a little bit. And with 2 state championships secured, what goals do you have set for the future?
I'm not even really worrying about winning state titles. I just want to keep teaching these kids how to get really good at wrestling, make sure they're having fun doing it, and that they're learning how to be great individuals on and off the mat. That's the number one goal.
What's some of the advice you give them? Do you have any key words, key phrases that you say to them to help instill that?
We have a little bit of a mantra that we'll say a lot of times. We talk about we never fear losing, that we're making mistakes, that we're relentless and aggressive, and that we're grateful for the opportunity to compete and to wrestle, and we never ever give up. And we
Yes,
say
sir.
that quite frequently. So
I like that a lot. And I just want to ask one more thing. What advice would you give to other coaches aiming to help build a successful wrestling program?
just try to start with a young group of kids, and it starts with the community, you know, with all the dads that are in there coaching their kids at a young age, and maybe getting to help them teach them how to teach their kids and coach their kids and what things they can be teaching them. So it starts from the early. So if you can get them on the mat early and making sure they're having fun, that they're enjoying it, they'll stick around. When they stick around, good things happen.
Well, that's awesome. That's all I have for you, Coach Jeff Brown. I really appreciate your time,
Yeah.
sir, and I'll leave it up to anything else you have to say.
I don't think so, but I'm just grateful that got to coach this team and be around these kids, and I'm just real appreciative of the support I get from the parents, and it's just been awesome.
Well, thank you, sir. This has
Thank you.
been our guest interview with Coach Jeff Brown.
Thank you.
We're here at the end of Sports Timeout, episode 17. Once again, a huge congratulations and a huge thank you to Coach Jeff Brown, obviously on winning back-to-back state championships, and I really appreciate his time to interview with me. At the district basketball game, we're going to be getting some of those recaps and stuff. That's going to kind of be our next week's episode, is more of a basketball focus, so get ready for that. And a funny little story, Coach Andy Hampton was missing the podcast for a couple weeks. I'm glad to hear that somebody's listening, and Coach Hampton, hopefully this episode scratches that itch for you. We're excited to see what some of these basketball teams do as they are doing districts, have finished districts, are continuing districts. We're going to have a lot of basketball action for you, and hopefully we got some teams heading on to the district championship, winning that and making it into the state tournament. As always, make sure you're picking up this week's issue of the Odessan. This has a lot of great action shots from Kory. This kind of has our wrestling special section, so make sure you're picking that up. That's a great thing to look at in terms of catching up if you didn't go down to state, what you missed, things like that. And it was just a cool thing to put together, and a lot of us put a lot of time and effort into it, so make sure you're picking that up. As always, I rambled a little bit longer than I normally do, but I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will catch you next week.